So in this video I will try and simplify the process of backpropagation through an example. Hello all budding data scientists and machine learning enthusiasts. My name is Neeraj Sabnani and welcome to Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning Simplified. In this video I will illustrate the process of backpropagation with the help of a simple example. So quick recall from an earlier video. Backpropagation is a foundation element of the neural network training. So it's the process of fine-tuning and updating the weights in the neural network based on error from the earlier iteration. So in the beginning, the weights are assigned randomly. So these weights and the biases are assigned randomly, and through the process of forward pass, the initial output is computed. And then once the prediction happens, the predicted output is compared with the actual output, and we compute the error or loss. And once this is computed, the network backpropagates the error in the reverse direction, that is in the backward direction, such a way that updates of different parameters, updates of weights, updates of biases happen to minimize this error through the network across multiple iterations. So consider a simple neural network with two input nodes from an example perspective. It has two hidden nodes, H1 and H2, and it has two output nodes, O1 and O2. There are also two bias terms here, B1 and B2, which are connected to the layers, hidden layer as well as the output layer. Here Y1 and Y2 are the actual output, and then by comparing output, that is O1 and Y1, and then output from layer node O2 and the actual output, we can compute two errors, that is EO1, which is a comparison of these two, and then also EO2, which is comparison of these two nodes. And if we zoom in a little bit more, hidden node is getting and has having two operations. First is it is getting the input values from the previous node, so it is getting W1 I1 and W2 I2, plus it is having the bias term, so that I am calling it as IH1, that is input coming to the hidden node. And then we apply an activation function called G to this input, and then the output from the hidden node is OH1. So in this simple example, we will be applying a sigmoid activation function, which is of the form of 1 by 1 plus e raised to power minus x. So for this neural network, as we have shown the details of node H1, we have the similar operations for node H2, where again it is made up of two steps. One is getting the input from the earlier nodes, and then output, which is generated by adding or applying an activation function on this input. Similarly, for the output node O1, we are getting the inputs and we are calling it as IO1, and the output from this output node we are calling it as OO1. In a similar manner, for the node O2, that is the output node O2, we are going to get the input as IO2, and then we apply an activation function on that, which will generate an output called OO2. So in this neural network, we have input values as 0.05 coming to node 1 and 0.1 coming to the node 2. And initially we have assigned the weights in a random manner from W1 to W4 and the bias 1, and similarly from W5 to W8 and the bias 2. And we also have the actual output, which is 0.01 for Y1 and 0.99 for Y2. So the network will start the process of forward pass, and it will compute these outputs from the network for O1 and O2. So as this process starts in the forward propagation, First, we'll get the input values coming to node H1, which will be W1 I1 plus W2 I2 plus a bias term, that is B1. So here we have done that computation, W1 I1 plus W2 I2 plus bias into 1. We get the input coming to the node H1, and then we apply a sigmoid transformation function to get the output from this node. And in this case, since we have applied a sigmoid transformation function, it is 1 by 1 plus e raised to power minus x. So we substitute the value of I H1 here. We get the output from this node as 0.5932. Similarly, we can do the similar computation for node H2, and then we get the output as 0.59688 from the H2. So the moving to the next layer of the forward propagation, we now compute the values coming to node O1 and node O2. So if we have to compute the values coming to the node O1, we know that the value coming here will be W5 of output coming from H1, W6 and multiplied by the output coming from H2 plus the bias term. So substituting these values of W5, W6 and whatever values we computed from the previous section for OH1 and OH2, we substitute all these values and we get the initial output from the network, or the IO1 value, not the initial output, but the IO1 value for the network is 1.01. And then we apply the transformation function, again a sigmoid transformation function on this value, and then we get the output as 0.75 for this node, and we label it as O1. Similar computation when done for the node O2, we get the output as 0.7729. So we see there is a big difference if we compare it with the actuals here. So if we have to compare it with the actuals, we will compute the errors by comparing these two values and taking a square of that, and we are also taking the half value of it to make it easier from the differentiation perspective. So we can compute the error of O1, that is the error corresponding to this node, is coming out as 0.274. Similarly, EO2 is computed and the EO2 value will be 0.023, and the total error will be sum of EO1 plus EO2, which will be 0.274 plus 0.023, which will make it 0.2783. Now, since we have computed the error, the next step is for us is to compute the gradient of this error and then work on updating the different parameters like different weights and biases through the network, through the process of backpropagation. So the first step is to compute the gradient of this error with respect to weight phi, for us to be able to update this weight phi. So here we will apply a simple chain rule where we will look at the, if we have to compute the gradient of error with respect to weight phi, we can simply look at the gradient of error first with respect to O1, then the gradient of O1 with respect to IO1, and then gradient of IO1 with respect to W5. And also we know that error, total error, is made up of error 1, EO1, and then error 2, that is EO2. So the formula for the error, as we had seen in the previous section, was half of output 1 predicted output from first node minus y1 whole square plus half of predicted output from second node minus y2 whole square. So if we simply take the first term, that is derivative of E with respect to O1, here we have only one term having O1, so we will be able to do the simple differentiation, and again using the power law of differentiation, the reference is given here. For derivative of x raised to power n, we get n in front and x raised to power n minus 1. So in this case we have 2 as the power, so we simply get 2 into half into O1 minus 1 as the derivative. And for the second term, since there is no term for O1 rest of the all terms are considered constant, it will be 0. So derivative of E with respect to O1 is simply 0.741. Also, now for the second term, derivative of O1 with respect to IO1, we know that O1 and IO1 are connected to each other with the help of the transformation function, and in this case it's a sigmoid function. And as we know, the derivative of sigmoid function is fx 1 minus fx. So we'll use the same formula and compute this derivative of O1 with respect to IO1, which is basically the derivative of the sigmoid function as IO1 1 minus IO1, because fx value will be replaced by, sorry, O1, fx value will be replaced by O1 here. So we replace this value and then we are able to calculate the second term in this differential as 0.186. Now we have to compute the third term, derivative of IO1 with respect to W5. And as we know, IO1 is basically W5 into output coming from the hidden node 1 plus W6 into output coming from the hidden node 2 plus a bias term. So applying a differential for this with respect to W5, we get the value as OH1, that is output coming from the hidden node 1, which is 0.5932. So applying the product of all these three terms in the chain rule formula, we are able to get the derivative of error with respect to W5 as 0.08216. So the next step is to update the weights. So to update the weight, we have the formula for updates of weight given by the new weight equal to old weight minus learning rate into the derivative. And in learning rate is typically taken as between 0 and 1. So in this case, we are assuming the learning rate of 0.5 from the simplicity perspective. So we get W5 star, that is a new weight, that is W5, by putting these all the values. So earlier weight was 0.4 and the new weight we get is 0.3589, and similarly we get the updated weight W6, W7, W8 as well. So next step is to go a layer behind. So far we have been able to update and get the new weights for all of these. However, these new weights will not be used in this current iteration, they will be used in the future iterations. So the next step is to compute and update the weights in the next layer. So for that, we will similarly want to compute the derivative of error with respect to W1. So for that to happen, we will go to the node H1 and look at how the chain rule will be used for computation of derivative of W1. Another point which is important here is, since this is an internal node, it is getting the error from all the nodes from the last layer. So in this case, there are two nodes which are connected to hidden layer 1. So accordingly, it is getting this error from the two nodes, and accordingly we will have to have two terms associated here for the error differential. So if we look at the backpropagation rule, derivative of error with respect to W1 will be, so to compute the derivative of error with respect to W1, we look at this node H1 and we will use the chain rule, that is derivative of E with respect to OH1, then derivative of OH1 with respect to IH1, and then derivative of IH1 with respect to W1. Also, for the first term, which is derivative of E with respect to OH1, as we see, this error is made up of two errors, EO1 and EO2, and both these errors are contributing to the node H1. So we will be having derivative of E with respect to OH1 replaced by derivative of EO1 with respect to OH1 plus derivative of EO2 replaced by derivative of OH1. we will apply one more chain rule because EO1 is not directly related to OH1. So for the first term, we will again apply the chain rule where we will look at derivative of EO1 with respect to OO1, and then derivative of OO1 with respect to derivative of IO1, and then derivative of IO1 with respect to OH1. So considering IO1 is a function of W5OH1 plus W6OH2 plus bias term, we take a derivative of IO1 with respect to OH1, we simply get W5. And we have computed the earlier terms when we were doing the derivative of error with respect to W5, so we will use those same values. Putting all these three values together, we get del EO1 with respect to del OH1. By putting all the three values in this formula, we get the value as 0.055. So far we have been able to compute this first term here. Similarly, we will be computing the second term, that is del of E2 with respect to OH1, and we'll get the value as minus 0.019, and we'll add these two, both these error terms, derivative with respect to OH1, to get the overall del E with respect to OH1 as 0.036. So now we have got one term here. We also have to look at other two terms, del of OH1 with respect to IH1, and then del of IH1 with respect to W1. So as we have seen this earlier, derivative of error with respect to weight 1 consists of three terms. So far we have got only first term derived. Now we will be looking at how do we get the second term, that is del of OH1 with respect to IH1, OH1 in the node H1 with respect to IH1. And since we know we have applied a sigmoid transformation function, we can simply use the reference of sigmoid transformation function, which is derivative is fx 1 minus fx. So we can easily compute del of OH1 with respect to IH1 by taking fx, which is over H1, into 1 minus fx, which is again OH1. And we get the value of 0.24. So the second term is also computed. Now we will be computing the third one, which is del of IH1 with respect to del of W1. Here, since IH1 is W1 I1 plus W2 I2 plus B1, differentiating with respect to W1, we simply get I1, which in our case was 0.05. So substituting all these three values, we get del of E with respect to W1 as 0.0043. So again, we can use the weight update formula to get the new weight W1, which will be 0.1497. Similarly, we'll do the same computations for other three weights, W3, W2 and W4, and we get the updated weight. So as we see, with the initial inputs of 0.05 and 0.1, at the end of the forward pass, our error was 0.98, and after one update through the backward pass, we had a small reduction in error to the extent of 0.291. But however, when we repeat these iteration multiple times, so if we look at 10,000 iterations, our error reduces substantially to 0.000035. So we see that network is able to update the weights, it is able to reduce the error through this whole process. So I hope you would have picked up some inputs with respect to the role of backpropagation, and also would have understood the whole concept of backpropagation with the help of this simple example. And I hope you found this video useful and would have learned all of these concepts. Please like this video by clicking on the like button and share it with your friends. Kindly subscribe this channel and to receive the new updates. Thanking you all. Happy learning.